Hi and welcome to day 4 of Inktober Tangles 2023. Today's tangle is a little bit more complex. It's a tangle Sunbelt by Jody Genovese, and yeah, it looks quite complex, but it's actually very fun and not that difficult to master. So I will first decide where to place it. So what I would like to do, because it's basically a ribbon tangle, I would place it next to one of these lines, and I'm thinking about either these lines, the shorter ones, or the longer ones, but it's not a huge difference, so I think I can just choose whichever. And the way I will start with the tangle is with adding these zigzag lines. And you can see that my zigzag line is not like a perfect zigzag line. It's actually on purpose. And next I will just add these little dashes next to the peaks of my zigzag lines. And then I will transform those dashes into triangles. So one side of the triangle is following the zigzag line. So it's like an aura line next to the zigzag line. And after I'm done with one side, I will do the same on the opposite side. So adding first these little lines and then transforming them into little triangles and inking each of them in with my black ink. So these are the first two steps of drawing this tangle. And then we will extend these triangles to form a V shape on both sides. So I'm doing the same thing on one side and on the other side. But that's not everything. So another thing to do is extend. So we have these spaces here inside the zigzag lines, and I'm basically extending these lines, and I'm not drawing all over, but I'm filling this space with an extension. Well, it's, in my case, the lines are not matching perfectly, but that's fine too. So I'm drawing these V shapes inside where there's enough space to do that. And I'm almost done with this tangle. The only thing that's left to do is to draw an orb inside of each of these kind of diamond shapes, which are the last shapes that we got when we drew these V's, letters V. Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm inking in again these little interstices between my orbs and the lines. Did I say the last step? Because now we will add the last step. To make it a grid tangle, you just draw a line on each side without, drawing over these peaks that are sticking out. And here it is. So this is the tangle Sunbelt, a very cute tangle if you ask me. And right now I'm not sure how I will shade it later, but I will think about it later when the time comes. I will not show you how I will draw the second one, and I will come back to you with the third one because it's a lot of repetition. Okay, so I'm done with the two. I started with the zigzag line for the third one, and I'm doing these little dashes. Is it the right term? I think so. And then I will just extend them, draw 2 more sides so that I end up having the triangles which I'm inking in. As I said, this one is a little bit more complex. It's actually not a very complicated sequence of things once you see the deconstruction. It's quite easy. Then I will draw these peaks, as I said, on both sides. And add V shapes. There are many triangles and V shapes in this one, right? It's like repeating the same stroke all over again, from the zigzag line and then the triangles, then the peaks again, the V shapes inside, and finally a round shape in each of these diamond shapes, which is a nice contrast, I think. It's optional though, so if you don't want to add the rounding and the orb, you can skip that. And again, one more aura line to form a ribbon, and that's it regarding the line work. And now for the shading, I will do the shade right here where this ribbon kind of takes off from below the flower. So I want to enhance this position of ribbon, which is placed below the flower. And this is why I'm adding the shade right next to the flower, which is on top. So the flower is on top. This is why I'm not shading the flower. I'm shading what's on the bottom, or in the bottom position. Taking the blending stump and just blending those shades so that I have smooth transitions between the shaded part and the part without the shades. And then the next thing that I would like to shade is enhance these peaks. And I will do just one of them, and then you can do the same on the remaining 2 ribbons. And I think the only other thing that I will do is some smiley shapes on my orbs, so that they hopefully look a little bit more three-dimensional. I might add just a little bit shade on the bottom side of these. It seems like there's, 2 parts, and one is above the other, so hopefully I got to add a little bit more dimension into this, what was a flat ribbon. And I don't know, I might do one more here now with the camera on. So I want to enhance these peaks that are sticking out of the ribbon, and I want to add some shade on one side of these lines and the smiley shapes on these orbs. And then with my blending stump again, just revisiting those same places and blending them so that the transitions are smoother. And you want to rotate your tile, and when you blend the shades, mostly you want to point the tip of your blending stump towards the line, towards where the shade is the darkest. So I will do the last one alone, and I will leave you to do yours, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here with me. Bye.